Okay, so now we have our insert method, and now we're going to, because we have our insert before method, what we're going to do is we're going to make a method called list push front. And what list push front will do is we'll always push to the beginning of the list. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to do some nice kind of we're going to take things apart here. We're going to use our list begin method and our insert before method to create this push front method. So it's kind of the beauty of, the modularity design of making everything in the pieces so I can reuse it later. So I'm going to call it list push front. And that's going to take, it's going to take the list I want to insert into, and it's going to take the element that I want to insert. Pretty cool. I will put this on a new line so you guys can see it. And so all I'm going to do here is it's going to be one line, but it's going to be one pretty important line. It's going to call list begin on this list, so it gets me the beginning pointer of the list, and then I'm going to insert the element. So this is going to give me the beginning of the list, which is right after the head, and then element is going to be put right after it. So there you go. That's all you need to do for list push front, and I could also put some assert checks right here. For the list, this does not equal null, and lm does not equal null. Okay, cool. So there you go. That's the list push front method, pushes to the front of the list. Okay, so now that we've done that, we've done a way to insert into the list, but we also need something that's also fundamental with the linked list, and that is to remove from a linked list. So we're going to make a remove method. So the first thing we're going to do is our remove method is going to return the next node, not the node that we removed, because the way our remove method is going to work is it's going to take the node we want to remove, but it's going to return the next node. So in case I'm looping over the linked list, if I remove something, I get back the next node, and I can continue looping with that node. So it's going to return a struct of list lm pointer, and we'll just call it remove, and it's going to take the list element I want to remove. And so to do this, we're going to do a few things. First of all, to remove something from a linked list, we need to have nothing pointing to it. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to set the next and previous of element equal to null. And also we need to set the nodes around it, so the previous and next node of the element, to be right before it, so they're not null yet, to be pointing to the next node relative to the node. So for instance, I'm going to take lm, and I'm going to go to the next node, and then I'm going to go to the previous node. So the previous of the next should be equal to lm to the previous of lm. So it's kind of skipping over previous now. And so also lm previous dot next should be equal to lm next. So how you see what I'm doing here? I'm going backwards and forwards to be able to, so all my pointers are now skipping over this element. And then so also then I set it equal to next and previous at the end, which is pretty cool. One other thing that I forgot to do is I forgot to return the next node. So what I need to do here is I'm going to make a struct list lm pointer that's going to point to lm next. And then so at this time lm next is going to be pointed to the next node. But at this time, when it gets to line 49, it's going to be null. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to return next. And that's it for remove. So now that we've learned how to remove something, we're going to learn how to remove something from the beginning, just like how we learned how to insert something in the beginning. So we're going to make a element that pops the front, or removes the first element, and gives this back to us. So we know it's going to give us a list element. And if you're wondering how the list element is going to become the person structure that I started out with, don't worry. Trust me, that macro that I showed you and briefly touched up on will make sense in the beginning. So I'm going to call it list pop front. And what that is going to do is it's going to take the list I want to pop off of, list, list, list. Okay, so I always like my brackets on my own line. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to get the begin, the first element in the list. So struct list lm pointer begin equals list begin. It's going to take the list, so I'm going to get the first element in the list, and then I'm going to remove that element. So we're going to remove begin, and then also we're going to return begin, because, well, that's what we moved, and we want to give that back so the user can know it's successfully moved, but then pop it off. So as you can see, all these methods don't have a lot of code in it, but everything's kind of being very modular right here. So there you go. And now we're going to test that all of these push, pop, and removes work.